Hello, I'm Teri Mahaney, the creator of the Change Your Mind Super Sleep program, which I accidentally discovered when I fell asleep listening to a Suggestipedia tape I had made for myself. And even though I never heard it, it worked anyway. I got amazing results. It was all pretty unbelievable to me, and I started doing three things. First, I started researching the sleep state, the Theta brainwave state, from a scientific perspective. For a review of that research, you can go to my webpage. Second, I started making a lot of tapes for myself to see if they worked and if I could get changes. And they did, and I've done hundreds. And third, when the word got out, people started coming to me to help them make their super sleep recordings. And I learned from every one of them. Here's what I learned. I call it the Mahaney coat closet theory. If you go to a friend's house for dinner and you're wearing a coat, and when you get there you put it in the hall closet, you have a lovely evening, it's time to leave, where would you go to get your coat? This is not a trick question. The hall closet, right? Your brain works the same way. The brainwave state the memory is stored in is the brainwave state you must return to change that memory. And all long-term memory is stored in the theta brainwave state. Here's a story. Sam was a successful insurance salesman, and he did so well the first year that his company honored him, surprised him, and honored him by calling him up on stage at the annual meeting and giving him a trophy. And from that day forward, Sam never made another call, and he was going into financial failure. I found out Sam had been raised as a very traditional Christian. His grandfather, father, and uncle were ministers, and under some deep probing questions, he uncovered a childhood memory. After church one day, he was running around with the other kids, and he was leading them. They were laughing and playing, and his uncle came out and got him and very sternly criticized him and told him, "You cannot stand out when other people are watching." We did a Suggestipedia tape to dissolve that memory, and Sam went right back to financial success. Here's my first miracle story. Roger came to me because he kept hitting his head, and it showed. He was bald and he had little red marks all over the top of his head. So I asked him, "When did you start?" And he said, "Oh, I've always hit my head," but he couldn't remember when he started. We did some very deep relaxation. Roger was able to go back and see himself in a car wreck 7 years before, in which he crashed into the windshield. When he was in the emergency room, his wife came in, looked down, saw Roger with glass encrusted in his head, and said, "Oh, that's just like Roger. He always hits his head." That theta message became a hypnotic command for him, and he was compulsively hitting his head. So we did a super sleep recording to dissolve that. But I was always experimenting, throwing things in. And to see if I could accelerate the healing on these marks on the top of his head, I added the statement, "My head is now completely healed." 10 days later, Roger came back to my office, and he had fresh new red marks on his head. And I said, "Roger, what happened?" And he said, "I haven't hit my head since I left." And I said, "Then what are those red marks?" He said, "According to my doctor, I'm floating the glass out the top of my head from my accident 7 years ago." I was shocked. I was disbelieving. I was delighted, and I was extremely humbled to know that I had a program that could create that powerful healing for people. Roger's super sleep miracle started me on an unending quest for miracles. I don't always get them, but I always try. I hope you find a way to work with your theta brainwave state, your theta closet, to create miracles for yourself. When I need a miracle, I go to sleep. Super sleep, of course. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your changes.